Welcome everybody to the Prolonged Engagement Show. This is episode 44. My name is Kyle.
I'm Sarah.
And you can always find us at theprolongedengagement.com. There you can find links to freaking everything. That includes YouTube, iTunes, Facebook. I don't know. I haven't put any more links on there. Oh, you can email us too if you feel like it. So, all
ask
that good
us a
stuff.
question, we'll answer it on there.
Yeah, we'll answer a freaking question. Damn straight. So, it's crazy shit happening in the news. Don't you agree? Don't you agree? So, if you guys haven't heard, which if you haven't heard, you're living under a rock, which is pretty much impossible because if you're watching this, then you have to be in the deep internet, because how else did you find us? So
what the fuck kind of joke is that?
Seriously, I mean, no one knows who we are.
No, true. No one knows who we are.
We only have 16 subscribers. Most of
And
them
we
are
love-
our friends.
And to the 16 subscribers, we love every single one of you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's because most of them are
Ow!
our friends. So, yeah. Anyway, I think there's a couple people that, like, just randomly
Found
subscribed.
us.
I don't know how that happened, but...
I don't know, but I'm very happy. Ah!
Yeah, that is
Stop.
great. So, this
looking inside my mouth.
ninth grader named Ahmed Mohammed comes into school...
At a Texas high school.
Texas high school, with a clock that he had made on a circuit board, and
showed it to his engineering professor,
science or engineering,
who was highly impressed by it.
Is like, wow, this is really great. You know, I'm so, you know, I'm glad that you've decided to do this with your life and, you know, figure out how to put freaking electronics together as a ninth grader. But
he said, "Why don't you put it in your backpack?"
Yeah, they said don't show it to anybody because they'll freak out. Because people are stupid.
It was that he was like, "Put it in your backpack."
Well, it ended up beeping in his English class. The English teacher saw it and freaked out.
No, she didn't just freak out. She said, "What is it?" He says, "A clock."
Mm-hmm.
And he takes it out, shows it to her,
mm-hmm.
and then she calls 911.
Yeah. So the kid gets arrested.
You're missing a bunch of it. You're missing so much of the story.
The kid gets arrested.
Not only does he get arrested, he gets taken to the principal's office
mm-hmm.
with 5 officers.
Mm-hmm.
His parents were not present for this. 5 officers, and they interrogate him.
Yeah.
For about 30 minutes.
Yeah, saying, what is it? And he's
what
like,
is it? It's a clock. And they would say, I don't think this is a clock. Why don't you tell us what it is? He's like, it's a clock.
Yeah, like, what else can I tell you? It's a clock.
So after that, he was then taken away in handcuffs
mm-hmm.
to the police station, where his parents were finally notified that their son had been arrested.
Mm-hmm.
So this is about a good hour after he'd been arrested.
Yeah.
And not only that, the principal did not apologize. The principal ended up sending out a letter to the rest of the parents saying that
notifying that he's a danger to everyone.
Yes.
So I'm like, it's fucking incredible.
But the worst part of it,
I mean, now granted, most of the country I feel has
rallied behind,
supportive of him, including the president, who invited him to the White House under the @POTUS Twitter handle. MIT offered him a scholarship when he gets out, full ride
scholarship, because he said he either wants to go to MIT or SEM, SME something.
I don't even know what
It's
that is.
another engineering school.
Oh, then I should probably know what that is then. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a big-time engineering school
But
that he talked about.
The whole point
But he says that he's not going back to his high school because of the incident.
Yeah, his parents are figuring out where he's going to go.
But there are, like, I guess, private high schools in the area that are offering him full ride scholarships to attend their schools.
Yep. That's what I would do.
And stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which blows my mind.
Well, how does it blow your mind?
It's not that it's a bad thing. Like, I'm not saying, okay, this is a bad thing that they're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, they knew it was not a bomb.
Right.
And the reason I say this is because of how they reacted. Generally, when there's a bomb, you evacuate the school.
Mm-hmm.
You remove students, and you call in the bomb squad, and they check the package.
Yeah.
The reason we know this is because we've gone through God knows how many stupid bomb threats from high school.
Including the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Infamous peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
There was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that...
Left in the gym.
It was left in the gym, and it was written on it, "This is a bomb." And, of course, the whole campus had to be evacuated at that point.
Yep.
So.
Which was ridiculous. Then in high school, we got the double call at Eastridge, remember?
What?
We got the one call for the bomb threat,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got a sniper call.
Yeah. Well, that's because there was that huge gang thing that was going on.
Yeah.
So. And they had, posted all over social media, "Oh, we're going to hit the school on this day," and shit like that. But.
Yep. But I find it ridiculous because if they knew it was not a bomb,
Mm-hmm.
why?
Exactly.
Because obviously the way they reacted was not that of a bomb. They reacted as if it was if he had brought like a gun to school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking, what was going through the officer's mind when they knew they weren't following procedure for this?
It comes down to the point that, he was a Muslim.
He was obviously Muslim. Obviously. Not just his name, but his looks. Also,
He's practicing too, right?
Yes, he is. His family is practicing. Not just that, but the day he went to school, what type of shirt was he wearing?
NASA shirt.
NASA!
Mm-hmm.
How much more patriotic do you need a kid to get?
It doesn't matter. He was still a Muslim, so there's a lot of this country, and I mean it was Texas as well.
True.
So I mean, there's a lot of this country that just sits there. They look at people who are Middle Eastern, and they sit there and go, they're ISIS or Al Qaeda, and it's like, no.
One of the things
that happened after 9/11, where I mean,
No.
people who were
No.
Middle Eastern after 9/11 were afraid to leave their homes, because of the shit that was happening to them.
One of the things I found interesting, at least,
we had a somebody that we knew that was driving in their car, and this guy, they were American citizens. Both the mother and the daughter were born in the United States. They were just practicing Muslims, and
they wear
this guy
hijabs.
Yeah, and this guy honks at them and screams out his window, "Go back to where you came from, you ragheads!" And I'm like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
Like, I would be afraid for my life if people, try to run me off the road and yell obscenities at me. I mean, it's just awful, and it still goes on today. There's
video out right now of a Donald Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is she doing?
She's moving around being a dumbass.
Was she getting hurt?
No.
She's trying to jump down. So he asked Trump a question. And he's claiming in this video that there are camps throughout the United States that train people of the Muslim faith to be terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
And they're training to kill Americans.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly sitting here like, how stupid.
Well, and then he also said, you know,
how do we get rid of them? Was his question.
We know, he said, Muslims are a huge problem in the United States. And he goes, and guess what? You know, nothing's going to happen since our president's a Muslim. And we're like, what?
He's a practicing Christian.
Like, he's Christian. And that was the whole thing about how, you know, everyone said that he swore on the Quran when he got into office. It was like, that's not fucking true. None of that is true.
Yeah.
And then there was a whole thing, and I mean, especially because, you know, it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump was the whole person that brought up that whole birther shit.
Yep.
Where it said, you know, I want to see the birth certificate. And
then he even
President
said,
Obama had to sit there and he offered up 2 different forms of identification of proof that he was born in Hawaii. And here's the other fucking thing is those people don't think twice about where Ted fucking Cruz came from. He's a fucking Canadian.
No, the thing I found interesting about that also, and he says the Muslims are the problem, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and you know he's not even born in the States.
Right. People still believe it.
I don't understand how people can be so stupid. Because 90% of the attacks in America on American soil are not by Muslims.
Right.
They are by white supremacists.
Mm-hmm. People like that guy who was complaining about the Muslims. Seriously.
Yeah. He is literally the problem. And it just blows my mind that people people seriously believe that we have a problem in America.
Well, last night,
Excuse me.
Last night I was surfing the hellhole that is Facebook, and I came across this thing. One of our friends had posted this thing about DC.
I don't even know. The people who post that type shit, I've either unfollowed or I've unfriended you.
Well, she's a good friend, and if she's watching, she knows who she is. But I ended up the thing was they were saying, oh, you know, DC isn't even part of America.
Yep.
And I was like, what? And I was like, I've got to read this shit.
I read it, and I wanted to throw something through the fucking window. So he said,
now, granted, our friend said, you know, oh, I don't know. She goes, do any of you know if any of this is true? She goes, I haven't looked it up or anything. She goes, but I'm just posting it here so that I remember to look it up.
Yep.
And he was talking about in 1871, after the Civil War, you know, we had spent so much money that we needed more money in the United States. So the U.S. government ended up selling the District of Columbia to banks in Europe. And so the District of Columbia isn't even a part of the United States anymore. It's beholden to these bankers. And then they went on to say that the banks, that the whole world is run by banks, that nobody has any power, everything is done by these bankers. And I'm like, okay. So that was true in the 1600s. Good for you. That is not true anymore because there's a thing called sovereignty.
Congratulations.
Which means that the country owns itself. You know, no other country can own another country because it's called sovereignty. But anyway, it was funny. I actually so I did some research on things that happened in the District of Columbia during 1871, and there was actually a huge act that was passed in Congress in 1871, and the act gave D.C. its own government.
Yes.
So they're saying, oh, well, Congress can't just, take care of D.C. There has to be, some sort of government within the District of Columbia that runs the city.
But it doesn't work.
Well, I mean, it still doesn't work. And it wasn't until, I don't think that it was until recently that D.C. even got a mayor. So I think that's been in the last 50 years or so. I mean, I can't, don't quote me on that, but...
No, you're right.
I believe that it was only within the past, 50 years that they even got a mayor.
They have...
But so
their license plates say taxation without representation.
Yeah.
For a good reason.
Yeah. So there was this thing about so I made a huge comment on it. I was like, DC is part of the United States. If it wasn't part of the United States, then guess what? They couldn't be taxed by the United States government. It's just the same. I was like, it's a federal territory, the same as Puerto Rico, same as Guam, same as the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's all the same shit. The only difference is that DC is within the mainland of the United States, and it gets taxed just like every other state. But the difference is that
they have no representation.
They don't get representation in Congress, the same as the other states.
Yeah.
And which is fucking bullshit, because DC has a bigger, just the District of Columbia has a larger population than Rhode Island.
Yeah. It's ridiculous and sad.
And they have, guess what? Five people in Congress. They have 2 senators and 3 congressmen.
That's bullshit.
So it's
the
crap.
ignorance and stupidity within the states.
Well,
boggles my mind.
That whole thing. This guy, said, wasn't saying, and then he was like, our problems aren't in DC. Our problem is DC, and was like, you go fuck yourself. But it's just the same. It's just the same shit over and over and over again, and a lot of it is because there's rampant racism in the United States.
Very much so.
I mean,
because I know everyone is going to agree with me on this. I am probably the most pale person you will ever friggin' meet.
Okay, what does that have to do with anything?
I have dark hair and dark eyes.
Mm-hmm.
In certain communities, I would be seen as a problem.
Mm-hmm.
To this day. Which is ridiculous.
Well, all of it's ridiculous. It's the same thing with... But it's the same... So, police profiling, things of that nature. That was the whole thing about Ferguson. They profiled him. He was a black male. I don't care what the kid did. He did not deserve to die.
No one does.
And no one deserves to be killed by the police just because you're black, just because you're white, just because you're Asian, Indian, anything. And that was the thing against George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin. He was like, there's been burglaries in this neighborhood, so guess what? Oh, there's a black male. Let's shoot him. Like,
because he's obviously going to steal something.
And that's what it just. That's the whole thing with Trump too, is that he panders to that ignorance, which is why he's so popular at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's just pandering to the ignorant population, which is why he's leading in the GOP polls. Most people.
It's because of the vocal minority.
Most people that are within, that are registered Republicans are fairly ignorant.
Yeah, because they think that the Republicans are working for the working guy,
and well, they've never been that way, but
no,
it's just. And I'm not saying that there's a lot of stupid people that are Democrats too.
Oh yeah, there's stupid people on both sides of the aisle.
It's like this whole thing between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Now, both of them are being like freaking awesome to each other, which is great.
They are being so cordial.
They are being really, really cordial between the two of them. They haven't started shit between them, but fucking news
outlets want them to bash each other.
I saw an interview on MSNBC, which is the far left leaning cable news channel.
And you know who they're for? They're for Hillary.
But
that is why they asked Bernie to bash.
But they were like, oh, Bernie Sanders, what do you think about having your personal emails? And he's like, I don't care. That's not what I'm running on. I'm not running against Hillary Clinton. I'm running for the United States people. And I was like, good on you, buddy. Good on you.
Oh yeah.
Don't go that. Just don't go there. Why would you do that?
There's no need to start slinging mud.
Why would you do that? You wouldn't.
No, but it's because that's what the American people like to see.
But there's a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters out there that have been sitting there going like,
who are slinging mud for him.
Who are slinging mud for him towards Hillary Clinton. It's like, why are you doing that?
You don't need to.
I'm all for it. In the primary, I'm going to vote for Bernie Sanders. Mm-hmm. I like what he's going for. I like what he stands for. I like what he's standing for. And I think that he has, and of the things that I've seen, I really do think that he has the cojones to buck up to these people. I really do. And that's what I want in the White House, because I've always had this thing about how, the American people have this weird dichotomy where they say the president has all the power in the United States. Like, that is fucking not true.
No.
That is like the least true thing in the entire universe. Mm-hmm. President has like no power in the United States. Mm-hmm. The president is beholden to the laws are created by the legislature, Congress, and the Senate. Okay, now a president can sit there and go, hey, this is what I want to get done. And he can go to a congressman and say, hey, can you write up this bill that I was thinking about and try to get it through? Sure, a congressman can do that. Mm-hmm. He can try to get it through. But guess what? It's not guaranteed to get through.
Nope.
And, the president doesn't have much power. He has these executive orders that he can do, but that only counts in certain areas that he can even do that shit.
Like safety for the for American people, and
and other than that,
he's basically kind of just a figurehead.
And I think that the president's biggest power is veto power.
Yes.
That's the greatest power that a president has, is that if something comes through the House and the Senate
that he does not agree with,
the president just does not agree with that, he can sit there and go, sorry.
Meh.
But then, if there's a 2/3 vote for that,
his veto power's fucked.
That the veto power is fucked.
Do people not understand that it has always been created as as checks and balances?
Right. And people don't understand.
I swear, people sat through their government classes.
So,
I know I had to take one.
I think that
I hated it, but I took it.
If I were president, I'd be running this shit like, I would just tell the American people, like, I'm gonna go with whatever you think. I'm just gonna say there, I go, sure, I got the power to do everything. I can fucking, I'll, become a dictator because, they think that the president has that sort of power. I mean,
no, my favorite ridiculous. One, no, what you should do is say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to control the fucking weather.
Yeah, there we go.
Because I'm the president of the United States. Yeah. I'm going to control the weather and fix California's drought.
There you
Boom.
Go. There you go.
I'm elect me.
And, but it's like,
please.
Pisses me off.
You feel better?
Yeah. But, man.
It's horrible.
Like, the whole point is that, I don't know why the country has to split itself every time. We're already split between, between Republicans and Democrats already. We do not need to split ourselves
between Trump or Rubio or the 15 other
that can be split that just needs to be split. But I mean, as far as
about the Democratic side, where it's honestly
the Democratic side, it's like
Hillary.
Yeah, it would be great if Bernie Sanders got the ticket, and it would be great if Bernie Sanders was president.
And Hillary should run with him at that
point.
But
guess what? I mean, what would you rather take? Would you rather have Donald Trump or Jeb Bush or Marco Rubio in office, or would you rather have Hillary Clinton?
I would much rather have
Hillary Clinton. Take Hillary Clinton every fucking day.
This is just something because I've been studying up on this. Because unfortunately, being somebody whose family is from Germany, the Trump's speeches and what he stands for is the exact thing that the Nazi Party stood for. Can anybody hear me? Okay. But when you look at history, he's doing the same campaign as Hitler did.
The whole point is,
and nobody
Trump,
is seeing it.
The only reason that Trump is as popular as he is because he's pandering to the ignorance that is within the GOP.
Yes, and the vocal minority.
Now, granted, he's like, I don't know what his charts are. I think he has 40% of the vote or something.
Yes,
like that.
It's ridiculous.
It's incredible. But guess what? That just means that the rest. I mean, I can't say that the rest are smart people, because
they're smart enough to see through him.
But because there's a lot of the religious right that is fucking crazy that is not on Trump's bandwagon because Trump isn't a real. He's not a real religious conservative, so a lot of them won't go for him. But they're going for people like Scott Walker, shit like that. But
well, if we haven't lost you already.
All right, everybody. Well, that was episode 44 of the Prolonged Engagement Show. My name is Kyle.
And I'm Sarah.
And you can always find us at theprolongedengagement.com. There you can find links to everything that we do, YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.